welcome to day 7 of your Pilates 10 and 10. Today we have a focus on the hips and the glutes, so nice strong muscles that we want to get working today. So we're going to come up and over into our 4-point kneeling to start with. Hands on the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Keep your spine nice and long, and then from here all I want you to do is start moving your hips from side to side. So it's a little bit strange to start with, but just going to warm up through those hip joints a little bit. Just keep the hips moving. Might find you get a bit of movement into the upper body as well, which is fine. Good. Lovely. One more each side. Then come back through to that neutral position, so into that 4-point kneeling. I want you to think about your right leg, and you're going to lift the knee up in line with the hip, and then tap the knee back down. So we lift and tap, lift and tap. So by lifting the knee up in line with the hip, we engage through that glute, so your bum cheek, on that right side. As we lift the knee, we want to try not to lean all the way over onto our left side. So we lift through the belly, keep the spine nice and long so we can stay centered. Weight is even between the hands. We're here for 4, 3, squeeze back glutes. Next one, we come up and hold. So hold that leg, that knee up in line with the hip. Then I want you to pulse. Up, up, up. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in. Lovely. We're going to come and do exactly the same thing on the other side. So left knee, we lift up in line with the hip, and then tap down. So lift, tap, lift, tap. Now you might find this a little bit trickier on one side than the other, so I can feel myself leaning over a bit more on this side. You might have to work a little bit harder to make sure that we reduce that lean as much as we can. Inhale at the bottom, exhale to lift. Weight is even between the hands, so this is a lot on the wrists. We lift and lower. 4, 3, 2, last one. Lift and hold. We pulse up, up, up. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in. Oh, come off of those wrists. Well done. We're going to come up and over onto our side now. So come and lie down. You can either lengthen your arm out along the mat or come and rest your head in your hand. It depends what feels more comfortable for you. Bend your knees, and then we're going to bring our feet underneath our bum. I want you to keep the heels together. We're going to come into a move called clam. So heels stay together. We lift the top knee, and then lower back down. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Good. So keep control of this leg. We want the hips to be stacked one on top of the other. So that as we lift and lower the knee, we're not rolling back and forward through the hip. So this move comes into the side of the glute, the side of the hip, into these supporting muscles in the side of the leg. And they need to be nice and strong so that they can do their job and support us as we sit and walk and all the movements that we do. And this burn tends to kick in quite quickly. We're just going to take 4, 3, 2, last one. Good. Oh, well done. come up and over and do the same thing on the other side. So, however it feels comfortable for your head and your hand. Knees are bent, feet underneath the bum, keep the heels together. We lift and lower on that top knee. So you might find that one leg has a bit more movement in it than the other. So you might be able to lift your knee higher on one side than you can on the other. That is totally fine. Perfectly normal and natural to have one side that's a little bit stronger than the other. So don't worry about that. Keep those heels together. If the toes come apart, that's fine. But we just want to make sure that we're keeping control of this movement. And check in with the hips anytime that you need to. So you can come and place your hand on this top hip, just to check how much you're moving around. If you feel like you need to. Good. Find your breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. You've got 4, 3, 2, last one. Good, relax that knee down. Ooh, come and roll over onto your back. So keep left knee bent. I'm going to lift right leg up towards the ceiling and take some leg circles. So I just want you to take that right leg out to the side, circle down towards the floor and lift it back up. So you're trying to go in a circular motion. If you feel like you can lengthen this left leg out along the mat. But if you have quite tight hips like I do, then that's not going to be comfortable for you at all. And this move works on our hip dissociation. So being able to move the hip in the socket, in the joint, without the rest of the hips and the other leg moving with it. Now that's easier said than done, especially if your hips are quite tight. So you might want to use your hand to just rest it on your left hip, just so you can see how much you're moving around. And if your hips are quite tight, this is going to burn quite quickly. And you'll find this quite tough. So we're going to take final 3, 2, 1. Then we take it back in the other direction. So we're only going to do 6 of these. 5, 4. Keep control of the leg. 3. Make the circles smaller if you need to. 2 and 1. Come and bring that leg down. And let's move on to the other side. Left leg lift. And let's start to take those circles. So see how this feels for you. If really big circles are too much, then make them smaller. You can use your right hand on your right hip if you want to, just to see how much you're moving around. And we're not here for long. So really working on that mobility in the hip. You might have one leg that's better than the other. You can make a bigger circle. Maybe it doesn't burn quite as much. Final 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And let's take it back in the other direction. See how it feels, make the circle smaller if you need to. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come and rest down. Ooh. We're going to have a little hip and glute stretch. So bring your right foot up and over your left knee. Draw that right knee away from the body. If you want more, you can lift your left foot off of the floor so you can bring the legs closer to you, which will intensify the stretch. If you're going to choose that option, place your hands onto your right leg just so you can control that stretch a little bit more. You can place your left foot down on the floor at any point if you feel like you need to. Let's relax down and change sides. Left leg up and over right knee. Option to lift that right foot off of the floor if you want to. Good. Just bring your hands behind your legs, roll yourself up seated, and that is your hip and glute session. So it's quite tough on the hips, outside of the hips and outside of the glutes, but we want to keep strengthening those muscles because they are supporting us in everyday life. So you can come back and do this routine anytime you want to and start to build up that strength. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 8.